Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
From the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Oh, I was muted, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, let's start over. Here we go. Sorry. Hey, everybody out. Everybody who I just said hi to. I just said hi to like everybody out there. So let's just skip that part. Say hi to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate that you guys are here tonight. So we are going to do a short stream here tonight. Sorry, I'm just not going to go too late because a little bit tired. But I want to cover the cloud rebunk, guys. So the cloud rebunk I want to get through here tonight just real quick because it was a big thing that came up over here today. Yeah, we got to start all over because we were muted. Got to start all over. Okay, so let's just jump into it. Actually, before I do that, let's do a little recap of what happened here. So I think two big things that were today. This morning I did post the Reddit conspiracy. I called it United States took MH370. It's gone pretty well. I think I'll pull it up here in a minute, see where we're at with it. But I think they got a lot of positive attention. I wasn't really sure how it would go. I was a little worried about having all the debunkers and what have you, like try to spam downvote it or whatever. But that did not seem to happen. So that's pretty sweet. Oh yeah, it's pretty popular right now. It made it to the top of the subreddit as well. Which was pretty nice. Probably the last post we do on Reddit. I don't know if we'll ever do another one on there. We might, but pretty unlikely. Yeah, thanks guys for the support on there as well. And then the other thing was that this cloud rebunk came up. So I've had, just to lay the groundwork, I've had several people reaching out to my DMs ever since that cloud debunk came out, saying that they knew it was fake, that they are, I don't know, analysts, experts, or whatever. And reality is, like, I just don't care that much in terms of the cloud debunk thing, because we had already pretty discredited it pretty fully. We had already gone over the fact. Well, we'll go over it here in a second. So we're gonna do a whole breakdown of it, the whole situation as well, just to make sure that people understand, what that situation is and where we were at before with it. But it got to the point today where the analysis has been so, like, they found the pictures in a Flickr, some kind of album from 2012, from February of 2012, and it seems to show a picture of the Fuji mountain that matches one of Jonas's pictures, like, exactly. Like, the angle's exactly correct and exactly the same. Like, there's no way that there was somebody else at the exact same angle on an airplane that took this exact same picture. I mean, it's the same exact argument that people have about why the clouds are a perfect match. There's no possible way that the clouds could not be a perfect match, right? Same idea with the picture of the mountain, right? It's what they had the exact same lighting and the exact same angle. Okay. As the debunkers would say, it's too close to be a coincidence, right? So I can't wait for all the debunkers to come out and admit the pictures must be fake because we found the source for them, which is too exact to be a match, not be a match, right? I'm sure that they will be scrupulous enough to admit that, right? Just like I was when I found the cloud, when the cloud pictures initially came out. Are you guys holding your breath to see if they do? So let's go through it. Okay. Also, just as a quick update, I just posted out here 15 minutes ago the uninterruptible autopilot. So the thing that we finished last night, if you didn't check out the stream from last night, highly recommend checking it out. It was pretty insightful. I guess we'll just start with that real quick. With respect to the uninterruptible autopilot, it actually had quite a few things that I thought were interesting. So not only did I find the piece about Hugo Tesso, who basically proved that you can hack an airplane using an application on a phone. It was really easy. I found that. I didn't post the link to it because it was a really long PDF link, but I did post a picture here showing how they would manipulate the flight management system, FMS. And of course you can manipulate it. I mean, it's an autopilot system. Of course you can manipulate it. It's like saying you can't hack a computer. Of course you can. So then, I mean, and if some random guy can do it, then of course the military can do it as well. So I didn't even put in all the patents and everything into this piece because I was already convinced that right at the first page. I mean, we're talking about teleporting a plane, so of course they can, hijack an airplane. Seems ludicrous they wouldn't be able to. Now, some of the other points that I put in there from the piece, so I kind of summarized some of the points that weren't as huge, but I think were still interesting, is the idea that the officials were obfuscating information right away, which they were. We know they were. We've watched the press conferences. I've clipped a bunch of that stuff where they admit they were in communication with the spy satellites and Rolls-Royce didn't put out the data, and that they lied about the plane. They didn't mention the plane turned around for like 5 days. They're like sitting there searching the South China Sea while they knew the plane had flown back to the Andaman Sea. It's like the biggest red flag ever. The SATCOM is not necessary when it's being remote controlled via transponder, so that was interesting as well. It means that even if the SATCOM was turned off, they still could remote control the plane. The officials didn't release page 1 of the cargo manifest, so this goes to our point about the cargo. And this could also feed, I don't know the date of this, so I don't know if they're talking about the batteries that they later admitted were on the plane or not. So the thing is, too, is we know they lied about the batteries. The Malaysian Airlines CEO didn't admit that the batteries were on the plane until the 20th. That was a week after they had invented the narrative of going to the South China Sea or South Indian Ocean. So why would they lie about the batteries? The answer is simple, because if they say, hey, there's dangerous lithium-ion batteries on board the plane, everybody in the world's going to go, oh, it was obviously a fire, right? Obviously, that's by far the most plausible explanation. So they had to lie about that. And then they admit that Freescale is the most likely motive. Now, I have a summary piece that we can post. Tiny microchip was the likely motive for the hijack, for Pentagon hijack of MH370. This is dated March 25th, 2014. Pretty nice. So I might be posting this follow-up at some point. I don't know when. And then the last ones, they even mentioned GA Telesys buying a copy of the plane in 2013. So that was interesting, but the real meat and potatoes is the log-on request at 1825 UTC, which makes no sense. But what if they hijack the plane at 1825 UTC? What if they hijack it because they know they're going to orbit and they need to have it under remote control? Or what if, maybe the plane's flying automatically at that point? Not sure, right? So very interesting. And that location is right next to the Cobra Gold Cope Tiger exercises, right next to it. So it's the perfect location to hijack the plane as well. Now, Dan Hanley, they argue that there's 2 intercept points, right? They argue that the plane might have been intercepted in the South China Sea, and then that they argue there could have been second abduction that would have happened at 1825 in the Andaman Sea. The reason why this is important is that those spy planes, I remember looking them up, they don't fly as fast as the Boeing 777. So in my mind, you have to intercept the plane halfway through. You can't track it that whole way. So I actually think that it makes more sense that the plane was on fire, then goes to Penang, doesn't land in Penang, and then that's when it gets hijacked after that. Or not hijacked, but remote controlled, right? No, the pilot didn't. There was no indication of pilot suicide. Pilot did not do this. Pilot has actually been ruled out, just as FYI for people who think that. Go read the official reports. Pilot's actually been ruled out of being involved. It's only narratives that believe that the pilot was somehow involved in this. You can't turn a plane off the way that it got turned off with one person. So I'm not going to address some of that stuff. Let's go to the next stuff here then. We know that KT saw two other planes at cruising altitude with navigation lights on, and we know that the French dad, I'm going to butcher his name, Ghislain Westeros, Ghislain Watrellos. God, I cannot pronounce this guy's name. Pronouncing French names is hard. Anyway, he was told the Americans know full well what happened to the plane. Yeah, and just a quick reminder, we're not going to be probably doing any science today. I'm just going to go through some recap, and then probably going to cut it short tonight. We'll see. Yeah, the pilot suicide narrative is also massively disrespectful, guys. There's actually no evidence of it whatsoever. So if you're going on, like, it's a literal conspiracy theory to claim that the pilot was somehow involved and Malaysia is covering it up. That's a literal conspiracy theory. And the difference between that conspiracy theory is that there's no evidence for it. You're just literally vilifying somebody with no evidence just to make yourself feel better, I guess. I don't know why people would do that. Now, the final most compelling piece of evidence in the 9/11 pilot's report, and I don't know if it's 9/11 or 9/11. It might just be 9/11. Anyway, whatever. Is that they argue that a positive FBO correlates with the plane flying west as opposed to flying south, and that a negative FBO would have indicated a northern or southern direction. So what do we mean by that? We mean that this is the FBO, burst free, or BFO, sorry, BFO. Did I say FBO? Ooh, I think it's supposed to be BFO. I think that's a typo. I don't know. It might just be frequency burst offset. It might be interchangeable, actually. I don't know. But notice how all these are positive, right? You can actually have negative burst frequency offsets. So why is it not negative if it's supposed to be going north-south? Are they just making this up here? Like, this literally seems like they're just reading the tea leaves right here, right? It literally seems like they're reading the tea leaves here. And then the last part too is that the final two pings are unusual. There should be no final two pings. So this idea that it crashed in the South Indian Ocean, they just make up some stuff here. They just go, okay, 8:11 is the time where the plane starts descending or runs out of fuel, and 8:19 is the time where the plane crashes into the ocean. Alternatively, it makes much more sense that the SATCOM pinged to an on-ground flight mode as it landed, and then when the engines get turned off 8 minutes later, that's when it gets a login attempts. So that to me is very compelling. It might need to get added to our evidence. That's huge. So the reason why we have these extra two pings in the Inmarsat data at the very, very end, not because it's crashing, because it's landing. And apparently that's consistent with the landing. And so anyway, I thank them for that. Once again, for Bert in the chat, there's literally no evidence of pilot suicide. There isn't any evidence. It's not a matter of fitting the evidence. There isn't any evidence. You understand what I'm saying? There's literally no evidence of pilot suicide. It's just a narrative, invention in your own head. Like, that's how easy it is to lie to people. People believe it just because they're told it. They don't believe it because there's any actual evidence for it. So, and then you might go, oh, well, what about the flight simulator that I was told about on CNN? Well, it turns out that was just MH370 that he was actually scheduled to fly on February 4th. Yeah, the videos actually have no debunks now. There's actually no debunks that we haven't addressed anymore. Even the cloud ones. I mean, we'd already kind of addressed it, but now we've really, really addressed it. So let's get into that next. Thanks once again to Captain Dan. Oh, spelt his name wrong. Ooh. Oh, boy. Okay, well, maybe he'll forgive me. I spelt it right down here. Maybe he'll forgive me. God, typo. Oh, chat. Do I edit it? Oh, feels bad, chat. Will even let me edit it? I don't want to edit. I've already got too many replies and stuff. Feels bad. Anyway, okay. Yeah, it's silly, man. The flight path stuff. So there's just no evidence. Okay, now let's go into the rebunk, guys. Yeah, the truth is, I don't know. So real quick as well, I'm probably going to do another follow-up on... Nah, I don't want to edit it. There's too many replies and retweets. Everyone wants me to edit it? No, because it'll mess up all the replies and retweets. I'm just going to leave it. It's fine, guys. It's not the end of the world. I spelled it right at the bottom, and I tagged him. And in the tag, I've got his thing spelled right. It sucks, but it's whatever. He'll forgive us. Okay. Now, let's go to the rebunk. So, and if you want to check out, this is also interesting as well. Dan Bongino actually did a thing on the Aguadilla UFO, whatever one. This one's a really interesting
there
one.
in the background, which
Whoa, okay. Let's put on the headphones. Okay. And that's interesting because this is one of the weirder ones. So I just thought that was kind of I'm surprised more people didn't like that. He's huge. Like, he's one of the biggest streamers out there, period. So I just thought that was interesting. Okay, let's get into it, though. Cloud. Let's get into the cloud thing. Yeah, Captain Dan, Sandy. Yeah, well, I just think more people looking at the UFO phenomenon in general is pretty interesting. Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought it was pretty big. Yeah, why are we back on white and blue Twitter? Good call. Let's switch out of that. Here's the images as well. I think this is the one right here as well. So just to familiarize yourself, this is the matching image with the shadows matching and everything, I think. So there's no chance, man. The shadows match and the angle matches exactly. Seems very unlikely, folks. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna before we get to that real quick, wait, why? Yeah, why is my black? Oh no, okay, this isn't my Twitter, is why. I was confused for a second. This is my this is the Reddit. So this is the post I made on Reddit. I added a bunch of images for people. Not gonna actually, you know what? Let's read through it real quick. Let's read through the Reddit and then we'll go to the debunker stuff, okay? So I said, United States took MH370. If you're not familiar, Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 disappeared on March 8th, March 7th UTC in 2014. There are many commonly known narratives about its fate, including the idea that it was a suicidal pilot that flew by his hometown to say goodbye and took the plane on a 6-hour joyride. This narrative is false and there's no evidence to support it. That's how easy it is for the media to convince people of a lie. The official story is that we don't know what happened to the plane. What really happened is the United States took this plane and lied about it to the world. The mainstream media is under complete control by the U.S. government, and that's why they didn't press the fact that we have surveillance satellites scanning the entire globe persistently with a system called SBIRS. There were U.S.-Thai exercises going on in the Andaman Sea where the plane flew directly past. We also have bases such as Diego Garcia that have capabilities to track the plane from takeoff to disappearance. There's no possible way the United States didn't know exactly what happened to the plane. We know a plane the size of a 777 can't disappear without being tracked and can't crash into the ocean without leaving a debris field. Every FOIA request to the plane to any agency is met with a 2009 Obama-era exemption that withholds the information This is supposed to be interest of national defense or foreign policy, including one by O'Reilly Tates in 2014 to the NSA. This wouldn't be the case if there wasn't something to hide. And then I spell interest of national defense and foreign relations correctly here, at least. So what happened to the plane? We can say with a high degree of confidence that it was a lithium-ion battery fire related to the 487 pounds on board, 2 pallets of which were unscreened, were in the forward cargo bay near the main equipment center, also known as the electronics bay. 19 witnesses corroborate this event and have all been discredited to invent a phony narrative of the plane flying into the South Indian Ocean. This includes Mike McKay, who saw the plane on fire when the batteries first ignited, 9 witnesses along the coast who hear loud noises at the same time, 8 fishermen who see the plane flying low as the crew battles the fire, and the pilots try to keep the passengers alive, and finally, Kate T., who an hour later sees the glowing orange plane with no navigation lights spewing dark smoke. The orange glows due to a chemical reaction from the halon 1301 releasing bromine, a halogen gas. And there's the letter to Mike McKay, or Mike McKay posted. The plane didn't fly for 8 hours to fuel exhaustion, and that's why the official search didn't find one piece of the plane above or below water, any black boxes, and why there was no radar signals or acoustic detections anywhere in the South Indian Ocean. If the plane crashed at 15,000 feet per minute, as Mike Exner of the Independent Group has claimed to me, it would have shattered into 1,000 pieces. He claims that all the pieces of the plane sunk, but that's not how it works. Much of the plane would have floated, including all the plastic, the luggage, flotation devices, bodies, etc. The debris field would have been miles wide, and we would have seen it on satellite the next day. Here's the search where you see they literally just searched everywhere, above water and below water. Over a year later, a few pieces linked to the plane washed ashore. The media doesn't report that no unique serial numbers were used. The unique serial plate was missing from the flaperon. Instead, they used part numbers. Only a tiny fraction of the plane is accounted for, with all the combined debris found. A couple of these pieces have clear scorch and burn marks on them. Not reported is that a B-77 fire suppression device washed up in the Maldives just weeks after the plane disappeared and was ignored despite having visible serial numbers on it. Right? So we've got the burn marks here, which I don't know how people are denying this is burn marks. How are people denying the burn marks that we're seeing on this thing? You can even see where it, like, this is like when something's on fire, right? Like, part of it burns more than the other because that's the part that's got the heat on it. Like, this is what you're seeing here. These are heat and burn marks all over this piece. How did they ignore this? And then, how did they ignore a B-77 fire suppression device washing up with a serial number on it right here? How does this get ignored? I think it got ignored because people didn't know what a B-777 fire suppression device looked like, right? But this is what it looks like. They're staring at it. And presumably it's been cut here because it's been fallen off or disconnected. Like, I don't get it. Okay. It was this plane, due to the 20 Freescale semiconductor scientists on board, far too many for a commercial flight. Freescale was linked to room temperature superconductive microchip development by a 2005 National Security Agency, NSA, report. They had just developed a microchip so small that it fit in the dimple of a golf ball. The company was linked to U.S. aerospace and defense. If it was a fire, why cover it up? Enter the MH370 videos. There's not a lot of reason to create an elaborate cover-up, including multiple countries and all Western media, unless whatever is being hidden is for national defense purposes. The United States and or one of the defense contractors, such as Lockheed Martin, use advanced technology unknown to the public on the plane. 2 perfectly in sync videos dating to just weeks and days after the plane went missing corroborate this event. The event we see could be cloaking or annihilation, but both are unlikely due to the smoke trail stopping and the lack of a larger release of energy, respectively. The event seems to be, despite how hard it is to believe, a superluminal event, teleportation of a macro-sized object. The MH370 videos are the reason for the cover-up because this technology is not just about there being a unification theory of quantum mechanics and general relativity, EPR, or ER equals EPR. It is because this technology can be used to create a doomsday weapon that would destroy the entire planet in an instant. Well, so why wouldn't Russia and or China blow the whistle on this? First, because no one would believe them. Second, because this is spycraft at the highest levels of geopolitics. And third, they did. Russia put out a report, not covered in Western media, that the United States put a package on the plane from the Alabama Maersk where 2 Navy SEALs were mysteriously found dead. Both overdosed at the same time just 2 weeks after the plane went missing. That's weird. China hacked the Malaysia government the day after the plane went missing and stole crisis meeting minute notes and classified information about the plane. Why would they do that? What is there to be classified the day after the plane went missing? They also released satellite images 5 days after the plane went missing, which seemed to show 3 orbs in a triangle formation. It was reported as debris in the South China Sea, but none was found. But in reality, it was most likely spycraft. A message to the U.S. government. We know what you did. Now here is, I put just a screenshot from the supposed Russian report, or a summary of the Russian report, and then the picture of the 3 orbs. And these are cumulus clouds in the background as well here, right? Like it matches the clouds, at least the types of clouds in our videos. It's hard to line them up. We tried, but I've been investigating this case for over 5 months and done over 60 podcasts, including Tim Pool and Alex Jones. I'm absolutely certain the United States is lying or withholding information that would reveal the true fate of MH370. You don't need to believe me or trust me because I've made the evidence publicly available to all. Even if you can't believe in advanced technology kept secret from us, please help get the truth for the families and the victims of the plane. Then I have a link to the all evidence here. Lastly, I want to send a message to a man named Lieutenant Commander Edward C. Lin. Thank you for leaking these videos and revealing the truth to the world, despite the fact that we ignored them for over 9 years. You are not a traitor. You are the hero we deserve. And then I posted a link to The Strange Case of Edward C. Lin, or a picture. So yeah, pretty spicy. Pretty spicy. I liked it. Okay. Now any questions on that before we go to the next one? I didn't add everything. If you guys are, let's give it a like. If you guys are like up to date with all the stuff that we've been going through, you know, there's a lot more evidence than that I didn't include there, but I had to, you know, summarize it a little bit. Edward C. Lin, hero, huh? Well, look at this. Does this look familiar? Yeah, it looks totally fake. Anyway. Ooh. I mean, my money. This is fake tattoo puts on Dr. Green here, or Dr. Greer. I'm definitely taking Dr. Greer in this one. Dr. Greer's jacked, dude. Real jacked. Lou Elizondo. I'd never trust anybody with a soul patch. Never trust anyone with a soul patch, folks. Ooh. Okay. Anyway, let's get focused. Let's get focused. Whew. Okay. Take a look at the evidence, Bert. I'm not going to go through everything. You can find the link right here or in that post on my profile. You can find the evidence. I'm not going to recap it all for every individual that comes. He's the guy, though. I'm 99.9% sure. One thing I will say is that in the caption on the Edward C. Lin thing I sent, he got 9 years with a plea deal for 2 charges of dissemination of classified information, right? Just for 2 charges of classified information. Now, why would you get 9 years in a plea deal for just 2 charges of classified information when your defense attorney says the evidence in question is available on the internet? Well, we got, you know what? I'm not even going to bother. It's not real Danny Jones. Is it? No, it's not. It's just fake. Just trolls in the chat. No, it's just trolls, guys. Okay. Now let's go to the Rebunk explainer. So the debunkers are in full meltdown mode right now, guys. Full meltdown mode because their own arguments got used against them and they can't deny it. Look at this. The shadows even match. The shadows even match. Anyway, let's get to it first. Okay, so we already debunked the cloud thing. How did we debunk the cloud thing, right? So right away, I was pretty much forced to put out a statement because somebody finds these clouds. You got every single debunker, Mick West, everyone on Twitter spamming it. Ha, Ashton, we found the cloud. We found the clouds. Somebody found the clouds. So a 6-day-old Reddit account in the middle of the night argues that they found some cloud images with their Rain Man skills, spending 20 minutes on a website where not even the person who took the pictures could find the images in question. Where we can all agree there's no chance somebody's looking at some pictures of clouds going, oh, those are the clouds in the MH370 videos. All I have to do is invert them and resize them and spread them out, and then it matches. No chance. Only way that somebody's going to be able to do that is they know what they're looking for, right? So once we realized that, then we said, okay, something's not right about this, right? Especially because days before, we had already proved that the clouds were moving. And we proved they weren't just moving, they're evolving naturally. This is not what do they call it? After Effects. This is not After Effects. This is not, you don't know how CGI works. Yes, I do know how it works. You don't meticulously make the clouds evolve in your janky, supposedly, video that you make in one day or whatever people think they can make them in, right? That's definitely not how it works at all. So, the condensed explanation. 6-day-old Reddit account claims to have found mirrored, resized, stretched out, whatever you want to call it, images in 20 minutes on an obscure website. Photographer gets an anonymous email being told where to find the files so that a real person can be connected to them, because the anonymous person doesn't want to be the person tied to it, because, again, anonymous people have no credibility. But so they wanted Jonas, the person who supposedly took the images, to be the one to put his name on him, and he was happy to do so. He gets an anonymous email from somebody and goes, oh, yep, I'm going to go make a debunk video now. And then, by the way, after I make my debunk video, I don't want anyone to harass me or bother me. Like, okay, that already red flags everywhere. Turns out Jonas is an expert at photo manipulation. What a surprise. The guy who makes a debunk video is an expert at photo manipulation? Oh, not just that. It turns out that he knows the website owner where the pictures were found. Wow, coincidence is degree. And they all know the Corridor crew. And the guy who supposedly found them, the 6-day-old Reddit account, only gets on because he got upset that I dunked on the Corridor crew, those idiots who sit on a couch looking like morons. So already we've got a lot of red flags, guys. But it gets better. The images on the Wayback Machine only go back to 2016. And as we've known from the debunkers, it's easy to change metadata. And we know firsthand because when we got scammed, they changed the metadata on all the files. All of them. They wouldn't give us any information about who bought the pictures between March 8th and May 19th, but they had supposedly folders with the images in them going back to 2011, 2012. Somehow the guy who owns the website's like, oh yeah, hold on, let me pull up my 2012 11-year-old file from when Jonas sent me pictures called Jonas Japan. Doesn't even have a year on it. His folder is called Jonas Japan. Already seems super sus, dude. So then we say, okay, let's go look at the torrents. Let's go, because this website, Jonas told us, the website would get pirated and they would steal all the pictures. So we said, okay, then the pictures are going to exist in the torrents, right? So we find the 2 different torrents on the torrent websites. Neither of them have the pictures in them. Neither of them do. Okay, now I'm very, very skeptical, right? Oh, well, it gets better. The data elements for the pictures in question were modified December 4th, 2023, 6 days before the debunk came out, exactly coinciding with the 6-day-old Reddit account. Okay, so now it's been debunked, right? But there's more. We've been able to show that someone can use AI to upscale images like this in less than a minute. And then lastly, it's not... oh, no, there it is. There it is. I forgot this one. We also checked reversed image search. The images in question, the ones with the clouds in them, don't reverse image search back to the website. How is that possible if the images are 11 years old? 11 years old? Images are 11 years old, but they don't reverse image search back to the website, even though other images do? That makes no sense whatsoever. So the images had already been fully debunked, but that wasn't enough for some people. Some people out there wanted to prove that they had been fabricated. Technically prove they've been fabricated. I didn't care anymore at this point, right? So just to really put the nail in the coffin for the debunkers out there, somebody today, actually it's been happening for a few days and I just haven't been reporting on it because, again, like I just said, we already debunked it. I just don't really care anymore, right? But just to really show how nutty the debunkers are and how completely disconnected from reality the debunkers were on this one. And of course, the debunkers didn't put any scrutiny into this. You point out all this stuff to them and they just ignore it, right? Well, I'm a Redditor, right? Just completely ignore it. Well, if that wasn't enough, we found the exact images they used to fabricate the pictures, right? Now we've found the images they used to fabricate the pictures. Here's a link directly to it. This is the image that was used to fabricate the Mount Fuji picture. And how do we know? Well, you do an exact overlay. Turns out, no question, same exact thing, same angle, same lighting in the clouds, on the cloud is on the mountain as well. I mean, it's an exact match, guys, right? Just like the debunkers would say, it's an exact match, right? So, I want to give credit to Yart Warney, who is the one who was able to show that you can make a higher quality picture from a lower quality picture using AI within under a minute. And WS Advisor, who he had been messaging me very skeptical of the images even early on. And I think someone said I saw in one of my replies that they had banned this guy from Reddit. They wouldn't let this guy post on Reddit because he started debunking the debunk. So they banned him. Of course they banned him. So this just, again, goes to show how off the rocker that the debunker subreddit is. Like, anybody who goes against their narrative and tries to, prove their debunks wrong, they get banned, right? And finally, when I saw this image and saw some of the additional analysis, which I'll click to later on, some of this technical analysis goes above me. I'm not going to lie, guys. But when I saw this where it just matches exactly, I figured, well, this is the perfect angle of attack against the debunkers, right? Because this is their argument. Remember when they were arguing with me about how a non-matching VFX is too close to not count? They didn't even disagree that it doesn't match, right? So we pull up. So one frame is similar, but clearly doesn't match. And the argument was it's too close not to be it, right? This was conclusive. Just to remind the Redditors who are watching, this was conclusive for them, what we're looking at right now. Even though it doesn't match, even though it's not the same color or anything, this was conclusive. So by their own arguments, this is 100% conclusive. This is pixel perfect. This is actually pixel perfect, right? The mountain is exactly right. The clouds were just photoshopped in. And people go, well, why aren't the clouds there? Because the clouds are photoshopped in. That's exactly what our argument is. They used AI or Photoshop to add in the clouds, right? Bye, Poppy. Have a good one, bud. Stick to CNN. They're mad, guys. They're pretty mad, folks. You know why they're so mad? Because they know they don't have any counter arguments, right? They don't have any counter arguments. Their own arguments got used against them. That's the best part about this. That's why I posted it. I don't even care. I was already fine with the debunkers moving on, but this also explains why they didn't move on, right? Why when you go to that subreddit or you go to the debunkers, like a lot of them have not moved on. Like they're jumping on every single person's comments, right? And the reason why is because they knew they fabricated the debunk most likely, right? They knew it wasn't a real debunk. They were just trying to trick people, which is pretty alarming how like off the rocker some of these people have gotten, right? They have no problem fabricating fake debunks just because like they just are super mad, right? Like this was perfect for them. This was close enough. This was close enough. Even though it's not at all the same, and this is just one frame. And when you show the full thing, you can tell right away that it's not the same. And that's why they fabricated another debunk, right? Because I made them look stupid. I made the Corridor crew look stupid. I made Danny Jones look stupid. I made all the Redditors look stupid. You know, and it's not my fault. They're the ones who are coming up with dumb arguments, right? And so, of course, they fabricated another debunk. It makes absolute sense, right? I don't think that the government did this. I just think that Redditors, and I don't know if Jonas was involved. I don't really want to accuse people. I just know that this is a perfect match, and the whole story didn't make any sense to begin with based on all this, right? So. Anyway, let me know when the debunkers want to address any of the arguments. They don't seem to ever want to do that, right? I imagine their next move will be to fabricate another different debunk. If I had to guess, what would they do next? Because they're going to be upset at this, right? They're going to have to try to clap back. That's how it works, right? They're not going to admit they were wrong. They're not going to admit that yes, it's been debunked. They're going to just try to come up with some other way to clap back. They're not going to address anything that we've said. They're going to probably, my guess is that somebody's going to try to, like that, the one person that, oh, and also I want to show this because I want to get ahead of the next fake debunk real quick. Okay, this guy, Tony Adams. This guy's a Redditor, so anything that he says automatically has zero credibility. If this guy posts anything, 100% zero credibility. 80% of my time was trying to match the original. Basically, he copied the satellite video when he made his recreation. He just copied 80% of it. The only thing that he made that was original in that video was the orbs and the plane, and they don't even look close to the same. And the portal, and that also doesn't even look close to the same either. All the rest of it, the mouse, the frame movements, the coordinates, he didn't create any of this stuff. He just copied it directly. That's not a recreation. So the next play is going to be that he's going to do some other recreation bullshit where he like removes the plane from it or something like that and goes, "Oh, I'm the creator. I made it up. I'm the hoaxer." That's their next play. I'm calling it right now. So when that happens, I want you guys to already know ahead and clip this segment right here that we're talking and show it to them and say, "I already called the bullshit you were going to try to pull next. I know you're mentally ill and you're like doing weird debunk stuff." So if this guy, and he's a Redditor as well, he's been confirmed. He's the one that did that with satellite recreation. I tracked the cursor in the original and used After Effects to adjust the coordinates. So he basically copied everything. He didn't recreate it. If I were doing it from scratch, I'd have used a screen recording app to track the mouse position. This is not how somebody would have been able to recreate it. He's literally saying that he's copy and pasting it and then claiming that he recreated it. That's like me taking a picture. Let's just do it. Where's the image? Here we go. That's like me saying I'm going to recreate this picture and doing this and going, "Oh, guys, I recreated the picture. Guys, I recreated it. It's obviously fake." Like, what are you talking about, dude? I tell you what, you recreate the satellite thing, accidentally, figure it all out. This is the same thing where it's like, well, I recreated I was able to copy, let's see, I looked side by side on the VFX and I modified this to make it match. It's like, well, okay, the person who created it would have done it from scratch. Like, it doesn't prove anything. Anyone can copy something and take a screenshot of it and make it exactly match. That's simple. And that took him days to do. It took him days. This guy, he wouldn't even say how long it took him because it took him several days to even just do that. Now imagine somebody trying to do it from scratch and having to make the coordinate program so that they have an accurate coordinate program. Guys, geez, man. So, okay, I think we've addressed the next debunk that's going to come out. So I'm already even preemptively debunking the next fake debunk they come up with. So Redditors, you lost that one. Don't bother with that one. If I see it, I will call it out, and I will clip this segment to prove that I called it out before you guys even did it. Okay. I think that's about it for tonight, guys. I want to go to sleep early tonight. So JK Philly fans, the next debunk is to generate the layers somehow, change the EXIF, and save it in a video editing form. Yeah, so that's the problem with how much time we've given them now, right? They've had so much time to fabricate debunks where they can start getting pretty elaborate with it. And that's why, like, we've already, especially if it comes from Reddit, especially if it comes from the Debunker subreddit, it doesn't really have any credibility. They've already banned Punjabi Batman. Like, I think he's on his, second or third account. He reached out to me and told me, I don't even know if I have his third account on direct message anymore. And then and they just admitted that they banned that Wall Street or WS advisor guy as well. Like, they're, nothing they say can be taken seriously. They don't have any credibility whatsoever. Not to mention they committed felony fraud against me, fabricating evidence too. So honestly, they're out of the game. They don't matter. If they want to come help solve the case, please do. Please help solve the case as opposed to trying to debunk something that you should have no invested interest in trying to debunk. Anyway. It's easier to do something from scratch. It's definitely not, man. Definitely not. So I think that the problem is like some of these people just don't have any logical thinking skills whatsoever, right? Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure like just think of the like a lot of them, like the only ones that we've seen are their really bad, crappy attempts. Like imagine how many of them have tried and failed and don't want to admit it, right? Probably a lot. Okay. Any questions you guys want before we close out for tonight? Yeah, so Quizzicotal gets it. That's why recreations mean nothing, because they have a reference. The originals have no reference. It was really hard for the Lore Lodge guys to understand this, which they just, if you can't understand that, then like I question your mental faculties, right? It's not a complicated idea. It's not a complicated concept. Is that the person who created it doesn't have anything to copy it from. So if you say, oh, well, I looked at that one and I matched it and I copied it. Yeah, okay, well, that doesn't prove anything, because the person who supposedly created it, the mythical hoaxer that we can't find that doesn't want $150,000, they wouldn't have had that luxury, right? If you're trying to convert this thing in the background, or this thing here to the thing in the background, you can't look at it side by side. That's the whole point. They wouldn't have had that benefit. And they go, that's literally what they do, right? They just get mad because they don't have any actual arguments. Yeah, the Gorgon stare seems to be a ground-based surveillance. So I think that we're pretty firm on the idea that it must have been an MQ-1C with aerial surveillance cameras. Yeah. Thinking in basic logic is not what the debunkers do best at, that's for sure. And the maximum irony, of course, is the Mick West comment to, was I streaming that? I don't think I was streaming that. What's his name? Let me look real quick. What was his name? The Skinwalker Ranch guys. Guys, we're back. We're cool with Skinwalker Ranch again, guys. Brandon Fugel, right? So Brandon Fugel followed us the other day. And when he and Mick West went back and forth, he impressed me. I didn't even know. I had no idea what I would imagine, what Brandon Fugel would say. I'd never interacted with him ever. And he basically said that, yeah, the debunkers, they just cherry pick what they attack, right? Like they cherry pick literally one frame. And they try to debunk something based on one frame. And Mick West goes, well, no, you need to give me more evidence, right? Dude, I unfortunately, the space ended 1 minute before I was about to just bury Mick West. Because I was going to say, you literally ignored 14 pages of evidence and decided some videos were debunked because you thought one frame matched, which didn't match. Like, it literally proves that they're not trying to look at the evidence at all. What they're trying to do is cherry pick something they can argue against and ignore everything else. And that's what Brandon Fugel was telling them about Skinwalker Ranch. It's the same thing they do there as well. And then Mick West says, oh, well, you should give your evidence over to Reddit and Metabunk. And I sit there and laugh. I'm like, oh my God, those are the last places in the world that should be analyzing anything. There's nothing valid that comes from Reddit. Metabunk is even worse. Metabunk is just literal cultists of Mick West. And that stream yesterday where they were talking about, it's all just Mick West cultists modifying Wikipedia. No wonder Wikipedia is such a piece of crap. It's just all his cultists sitting there and like modifying it, making him look like he's good, and then just like editing everybody else to make them look like crap. Like no wonder Wikipedia is just trash, right? It's a bunch of CNN brains just like posting propaganda on Wikipedia. Yeah, he's not even worth talking to, but I did want to, I wanted to address the stuff. Like, Brandon Fugel didn't even do that good of a job. He, should have cut him off right away instead of, letting him go on and on and on and on and just repeating himself over and over and say, well, you have to give me more evidence to look at, as if he doesn't, just ignore all the evidence that he gets, right? I don't think your stuff's getting deleted. I might not be... I didn't have it on live chat. Okay. Yeah, Bert, you're right. It's not a good look. Nobody thinks it's a literal 100% match, Bert. Yes, they do. They say it all the time. They say it all the time. It has to be a 100% match. That's how it works. How else would it work if it's not a 100% match? Doesn't that mean it's not it? If this doesn't exactly match, how is it in our thing? How is that our effect if it doesn't match? How am I misrepresenting the argument? They literally only argue one single frame. That's it. I'd say the only people misrepresenting the arguments are the debunkers. I've been clear from the very beginning, even going back to August, that I said what the standard of evidence for the debunkers is come up with a full story for how the videos were faked, including beginning with Regicide Anon being in on it. Because Regicide Anon would have to be in on it. Otherwise, when he says received March 12th, 2014, he would have no reason to lie. Because if he received it March 12th, 2014, then the videos are 100% real. There's no debunking them. No one's creating a fake video in 4 days when there was literally, we still think it's in the South China Sea. We still think the plane's in the South China Sea, and we've got coordinates of it over in the Andaman Sea. There's just no chance it could be debunked if you got it like that. So this is like, again, the debunkers don't even address the first point. Their argument about it needing to be fake needs to start off with the presumption that Regicide Anon is somehow in on it. So tell us the full story about how they faked it. Like the whole full story. Not, oh, I'm going to address one point and poke a hole in it and try to poke a hole in it until I'm satisfied and claim everything's debunked. That's lazy. That's misrepresenting the argument. That's cherry picking. I've got a full story of the plane flying off, the flight path, the fire scenario, the person who leaked the videos, you know, everything, all the witnesses, etc., right? I've got it all out there, you know? So the debunkers have what? One frame looks similar. One frame looks similar. One frame looks similar. What's wrong with Debunk is it's a bunch of people who have confirmation bias, who, as I just mentioned, their whole goal is to ignore everything they can't address and to try to cherry pick something. People on Debunk are the types of people that think nothing can be real. Nothing can be real. And they think that if you poke a hole in it, in something, even if you don't prove it, right? Because, again, here's the other thing about the debunkers. They have just speculation on their side. They haven't proven anything ever. All of it's speculation. Even going back to the jellyfish, their main argument is they think it's a bundle of balloons that they CGI'd together that doesn't even really exist. I'm not joking. That's literally what they believe. If you go to Debunk, they'll say that, oh, I made a CGI bundle of balloons. This is what I'm looking at. A bundle of balloons that doesn't even exist. That's purely 100% speculation. Purely. And if you go to almost all the debunks are like this. Just something they've invented that's completely speculative. And yet they have the gall and audacity to claim that we don't have evidence on our side, that we're speculating. Absolutely not. The problem is that both sides need to hold themselves to the same level of standard. If you're going to hold me to a level standard where 14 pages of evidence where I go through the witnesses, the leaker, all the evidence for it, if that's all not good enough, then you need to hold yourself to the same level of standard when you're debunking it. That means that, look, what we're looking at here is not even remotely close. You need to have like this for every single frame in both videos. Like that's the equivalent of how much evidence we have. If like you were able to find a matching VFX for every single frame in both videos, then I'd say, yeah, that's pretty convincing. Right? Just like I'd say if I got 14 pages of a whole scenario narrative of a fire event with the batteries, where the location of the batteries is in the right location, where we've got 19 witnesses who are real people who are supporting it, you know? Okay. No, this does not show that it's altered. Once again, it's not how it works, man. This VFX, the Pyromania VFX, has been used many times, and as far as I know, it's never been altered. And it's been used in movies such as Starship Troopers. I want to thank the debunkers for showing us that, because it actually debunks the VFX debunk. Starship Troopers didn't modify the VFX. They didn't change it. They didn't move all the pixels around. They didn't make it black or anything like that. They literally just put it into their movie. Because that's how VFX really works. You don't modify it, especially when you've got all this extra stuff here that's not even in there. So someone was like, hey, I'm going to remove these little lines here, all these little blur lines, these barely visible ones. I'm going to remove all that. I'm going to remove these dots over here. I'm going to realign the edges for some reason. Why would you even do that? Right? You wouldn't. And the funny part is sometimes when the debunkers are lying, what they'll do is they draw lines around here so that it hides that it doesn't match. They'll draw a line where it covers this up. So they'll make it look like it matches. Like they're just so dishonest. It's really embarrassing. Really embarrassing. Okay, are we good? So I think, is that enough? I don't really like addressing it too much. Okay, so let's address one more of Bert's questions. It's hard to prove something when you can just say it's shadowy authorities faking things, like the debris in the simulator data. No, the simulator data literally doesn't match. Like, again, that's not even my analysis. That's Victor Ilanello of the Independent Group. Even the people that believe the plane crashed in the ocean know the simulator data is fake. The debris is consistent with my scenario. I haven't ruled the debris out whatsoever. And then with respect to the shadowy authorities, you could hold yourself to the same argument. This is how easy it is to prove you wrong, Bert. You're the one making the argument that some mythical hoaxer made these real videos, and you can't prove it. You can't even find them, even for $150,000. I bet you if you offer $150,000 for a whistleblower to come forward, we might actually get a real whistleblower. Maybe the debunker should offer $150,000 for a whistleblower who knows that the videos are real to come forward. Maybe you should put yourself to the same standards. This is the irony. This is the hypocrisy. Bert actually is showing us right now the hypocrisy of how they don't hold themselves to the same standards. They're the ones making up fake stories. They don't even make a story up. They just claim, oh, some Bitcoin billionaire made this. They're the ones literally just making things up. Too funny, man. Okay, Cole, let's see what you got, bud. I'm looking. Oh, yeah, the jellyfish. Honestly, I don't know what the jellyfish thing is. I could probably debunk the jellyfish thing better than they would. I would say that if I'm debunking the jellyfish thing, I would come up and say that it's a drone with a tarp over it. Because obviously it has some weight to it. Even Mick West proved this the other day. Is that the balloons are going to be floating up into the sky. If they're filled with helium, they should be going straight up. It has to have some weight to it. I would say it's like a tarp or something like that. I'm just making that up. The reality is I don't care about the jellyfish thing because it's not verifiable. It's just like something you throw out there where you're like, hey, here's a 3-headed dog. It's like, okay, cool. That's pretty weird. It's not going to like change my opinions on anything, right? I mean, we don't even know. We can't even say if it's a UAP or an alien. And to me, neither of them move the needle at all in the discussion for me. For me, it's like, okay, I'm not seeing anything anomalous here. I'm not seeing I'm not seeing a teleporting plane, right? Like part of the crazy part of the MH370 videos is the forward-facing gravity engines we see on the orbs and the fact that we're literally seeing macroscopic phase conjugation. If I saw a jellyfish and I'm seeing it with this trail in front of it and it's moving in like train tracks, then I'm going to go, holy crap. But if I'm just seeing the jellyfish thing just floating around the sky, like going normal speeds, what am I supposed to believe that the alien jellyfish are attacking us? To be honest with you, it's like the least threatening alien invasion ever. If I just see some jellyfish slowly floating at me, I'm just going to go, I guess I'll go get the shotgun. What? Am I supposed to be afraid of it? Like, I just don't get it, man. So the jellyfish stuff just doesn't do anything to me. And you guys know my opinions. James. It was a flying Mike Obama. Dude, don't. You're going to get me shadow banned. You're going to get me shadow banned, man. I couldn't believe when you just... Why did the 9/11 report have to have that in it, dude? The Mike Obama thing and the 9/11 report. I want to pull that back up because the Dan Hanley thing. It's like he's taking shots at 9/11 in the MH370 9/11 pilots report, and then all of a sudden he's just talking about Michelle Obama born Mike Obama. I'm just going, dude, that is not necessary in your MH370 analysis. Not necessary, man. It's too funny, dude. Too funny. But yeah, so I don't know, man. The jellyfish thing, like, it just doesn't move the needle for me. It could be something cool. It just and the last thing I'll say, and so we're talking about the jellyfish thing, is like I think some of you guys said in the chat, like, where's the second video? Where's the video of it going into the water and coming back out? right? Because then you can rule out a balloon or something like pretty unequivocally, right? Like I don't think a balloon is going to go in the water and come back out. And where's the video of it like going off into outer space or whatever they said it happens, right? Where are the videos of all this stuff? You just give me the video of it floating around in one direction. Like if there's some video, show me the good stuff, man. It really makes me question people like Jeremy Corbell, although I have nothing against Jeremy. Nothing against him, man. They're just floating around. I just don't get how people like Jeremy Corbell are like, oh, I'm going to show a floating jellyfish that's not doing anything normal. But then I'm like, dude, here, I got a video of plane disappearing out of space-time with some orbs and the gravity engine in front of them, spinning around on their axis, showing a heat signature. He's like, nah, that's not good for me. He doesn't want to expose this video. Look what we're looking at here, man. How is this not good enough for Jeremy Corbell? Floating jellyfish are, but this video's not good enough? Like, I don't get it. What do these people want? What do they want? What do the UFO people want? If you're a UFO person out there, if you're Ross Coulthart or Lou Elizondo or Richard Dolan's out here talking about advanced technology, teleportation. What do these people want? This is it. You're looking at it right here. Here it is. This is what it looks like. Poof. Plane gone. I just don't get it. What do they want, man? It's a military video. It's an MQ-1C Gray Eagle. It can be verified. Like, yeah, JK Philly fan, dude. We need to change. So, debunkers, help me out, man. I'll join your side, guys. Okay, let's extend an olive branch to the debunkers, guys. Do the debunkers want me to switch like the Dave Chappelle racial draft? It's like the debunkers choose Ashton Forbes. I got to switch sides, guys. Okay. If you guys Photoshop or whatever, all these orbs into jellyfish, then I will come out and be on the debunker side from now on for all future videos. It's been promised. It's been promised, guys. You guys want me to join your team? All I want you to do is turn these into jellyfish so I can post an MH370 jellyfish video. Bonus points if you add heat signatures into the jellyfish. Oh, man. Honestly, I will join the debunkers. I'm almost ready to join the debunkers, guys. There's so many people in the UFO community that like I just can't. I can't with them. I'm just gonna make, if I join the debunkers, I'm just gonna make AI images of Chinese lanterns for everything, though. Yeah, if I turn these into jellyfish, then Corbell's gonna be like, Corbell's gonna be like, whoa, some jellyfish you got rolling around there? Okay, let me go show this on what's it called? Weaponized Podcast. Let's get this on the TMZ. we got the jellyfish on here, folks. We're going hard. I just don't get it. I don't get it, guys. Yeah, it does feel like it's a matter of marketing for some of these guys, right? Like, what if I chop this up? What if I chop this up into like 10-second segments and I slowly released one 10-second segment every week? And I'm like, guys, wait for next week and you get the next 10 seconds. Okay, next week I'll give you another 10 seconds of the MH370 video, guys. It's like, nah, man, I'm not trying to market something here. I'm just trying to get the information out there, right? The truth is not, like, clean. It's dirty, man. It's ugly. People don't want to accept it right away because it's hard to believe. Hell, you think it was easy for me to believe that some orbs can circle around a plane and make it disappear? Hell no, man. Hell no, it wasn't easy for me to believe this. The only reason why I believe it is because I'm sitting here talking to physicists and engineers who are going, that's real. And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, oh, this is real? Okay, well, wow. And I'm also going, well, I've never seen any forward-facing gravity engines in any videos, right? Thanks, Mustafa. Appreciate you, buddy. 1 pixel per week. I'm going, I've never seen any non-radiating barriers. And the other part, too, is, so just for the people out there, the reason why I think the videos are real is because I was already saying all the stuff about it, like the superconductivity. Like when I went on Confessionals podcast, that was the first podcast I did in person, like one of the first ones ever. And I hadn't talked to any scientists or experts or anything like that. And I'm sitting here talking about this is a satellite video. This is how it works. Here's the orbs. I even said during that I didn't think this was a metal ball. I thought this was just a plasma field. Like I guessed all that stuff from, not like guess out of nowhere, but like I'm somewhat familiar with science. And that's why all the experts are coming to me because they're like, oh, this guy's guessing correctly. And I'm sitting here talking about superconductivity, right? And all this stuff. And like, that's what it takes. And then all the experts come in and they're like, yep, you're right. That's superconductivity. That's a non-radiating barrier. We're looking at the monopole in here, like with Bob Grenier. I didn't even know who Bob Grenier was, dude. I didn't know who Bob Grenier was like a couple months ago before that. So that's why I think this stuff's real, because it's like if you were like guessing the lottery tickets and then like you're like, okay, I'm gonna play the lottery for the first time, right? And you're like, I'm gonna guess the lottery tickets, and then you guess it. You would think you have psychic powers. Now, maybe not a good analogy because people are gonna go, well, you don't have psychic powers, but it's an educated guess, right? Like I knew about the double slit experiment, so the idea of teleportation is not completely outside the realm of reality. Now, a 777 teleporting that's pretty wild, but when you see it in 2 simultaneous videos of this high quality, then yeah, it's pretty damn convincing, right? Okay. Oh, one other thing, because it's on the same line. Yeah, we need to see some new jellyfish videos, folks. So here's something else I'm going to tell you guys here as well. Where is it? Okay. So just a few, these are some more reasons why. Now, this is not hard evidence, just to begin right away. What I'm going to tell you guys right now is not hard evidence. I don't have any proof of it, right? But just some more of the reasons why, even though I'm already 100% convinced the videos are real, just some anecdotes for you guys. I've had a person come to my DMs just one time ever and say that they work for NASA and they showed the team and they think it's real. I think I had 2 different people now come to me and say they work for major studios. Major studios. They're talking about movie studios. And they think the videos are real as well and they're not faked. I had one person come to me in my DMs and say that they have a friend that works in the military. And they asked about the satellite stuff, and they said, well, that's satellite technology from 10 years ago. That this current stuff they have is even better than that. I had another person once tell me that, no, I'm not going to name or pull up my DMs on any of this stuff. I'm just, again, just anecdotes. But these are more reasons why I'm like 100% sure. Somebody else who's got a military friend who, they told me a story about how their friend was super drunk and would call them like 15 years ago. And called them up one night super drunk and went, we have the ability to teleport objects. And they thought, like, they told me that it hung around with them for so long that until I started reporting on it, and they realized, holy crap, that person was not just drunk and full of crap. They were really spilling the beans, right? Not to mention the whole source about General Dunford as well, right? So if you got all these people coming to you in your DMs and they're like, I don't want to go on the record, but I want to tell you that this stuff's real. It's like, man, Jesus. And those are just the people that just don't want to go on the record. I mean, think of the people that we already have on the record. We got Salvatore Pais, right? I don't remember if he exactly said they're real, but he doesn't even need to. The fact that the way he approached us, like, I'm not an idiot. People like Salvatore Pais only approach random people like me, nobodies like me who have tells me to make a podcast so I can interview him. Obviously, he thinks we're looking at something that's real, right? Bob Grenier sitting here going, this proves his whole plasmoid, monopole, toroidal, fractal moments, right? We got Roy D. Herbert in our replies going, this proves my dilation theory, my physics dilation theory, unification theory, and we got, like, my best bud, Dave Rossi. He's a DOD engineer. He came out and straight up said he thinks the videos are real on our podcast. I remember that. So it's like, damn, dude. Mic drop. Yeah, exactly, right? So how would I not think they're real? So you think I'm going to believe some fabricated debunk attempts? That somebody says, oh, one frame looks the same? Of course I'm not. I mean, listen to what I'm dealing with in terms of the people who are coming at me with that. Not to mention that we've got the Marvel VFX expert, Jeffrey Ford, who came on the record saying it would take at least 4 to 6 months. And we got the Top Gun Maverick post on Reddit where people are like, oh, you can't verify that. Since when do skeptics and debunkers care about verifying anything? They don't verify anything. It's all speculation from them. At least the person, the Top Gun Maverick person, like they actually explained the argument, which it makes sense. I don't need them to be verified because their argument is that the hardest part is getting the plane speed to match like that, right? To match the real capabilities of the plane, right? So it's like, man. So for me, guys, the reality is, you know, I'll give the skeptics and the debunkers one piece of credit. They're right. There's probably nothing that can push me off these videos because that's what's on the other side. We got the scales. The scales are like this, man. One frame looks the same. Oh, somebody claims to have found some clouds versus the huge weight of evidence of, first of all, I can just tell when I'm looking at a real video here, right? I can tell from the shake and everything else that this is a real video. But, you know, also the weight of the evidence of the experts who are like saying, yeah. So, any last questions, guys, before we close out tonight? So we addressed, we did some addressing of debunks tonight. What was this one? No link, no matching pictures. Oh, yeah. And so already I was reading through some of the comments on the, cloud thing. And at first, the people on Reddit were going, there's no link to it. And then people provide the link to it. And then they go, oh, but none of the pictures match. None of those pictures match. And then somebody proves the pictures match. And then they go, okay, the pictures match, but it doesn't matter anymore. That's their argument. If you guys go read, like I was watching it from last night when this started coming up and getting posted on there, and then there's more and more threads on it, and I didn't want to report on it right away because I just don't really care. But it started to get to the point where it's like, okay, we can't. It's awkward if we're ignoring this, right? Yeah. So it's funny to watch their logical progression of, nope, there's no link to the flicker. Okay, there is a link, but none of the pictures match. But then it goes to, okay, well, they match, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, too funny. And the ones like, also the last thing I want to say too is the other argument I find hilarious is where they go, well, how many pixels match? Well, like all of them. Unlike their debunk, the pixels actually do match this time. And the funny part of that is like, who do they think are the hypocrites in that scenario? If they're going to go, how many pixels match? Who's the hypocrite in their mind? My favorite part is when people prove themselves wrong and they think that they're making a point against someone else. If you come out and say how many pixels match, you're dunking on yourself, man. You're basically saying that you couldn't address how many pixels match and that you were wrong previously. And then you're thinking that's like some kind of like own on me. Like I didn't even need the image to match, but it clearly matches way more than the VFX does. So hopefully the Redditors and debunkers aren't dumb enough to say that. Like, if you're a Redditor or a debunker and you're going how many pixels match, then realize you're just dunking on yourself. You're basically admitting that your VFX debunk didn't match. You're the only hypocrite in that scenario. It's pretty funny. Yeah, or the people, who was the person in the chat earlier who was going, nobody thinks that the image is an exact match. The corridor crew literally said it's a perfect match, and then in the next sentence says it doesn't have to be a perfect match. Yeah, Emily McKenzie. VFX from the 90s, perfect match. Jonas photos, I've literally never seen two more different photos. Or the other thing they're saying is like, oh, well, somebody just took another picture from the exact same angle at the exact same location. What? Okay. They took an exact same image? Amazing. And only like, what, a couple weeks later as well? Amazing. 2 weeks later, someone takes the exact same picture of Mount Fuji. Incredible. From the exact same angle. With the exact same lighting on it. Incredible. Yeah. The corridor. Let's play that one. We haven't played that one in a while, guys. Where is it? What did I call it? I don't remember what I called it, guys. I have too many videos now. Also, okay, so just a real recap while I'm pulling this up, and we're gonna play it out here. I don't have any good science homework for us for tonight, but man, I found some good videos. Actually, you know what? I will. I think that you guys should watch the one that we didn't get through last night. I really do believe that the universe is electrical now. I do believe that the universe is definitely electrical. I'll post it in here again. I think this is it. Yeah, this one. Definitely watch this. It's worth watching several times. It's only like 10 minutes long. Definitely worth watching. And anything from Ken Wheeler is probably going to be pretty good as well. So Bert asks actually a pretty good question. How do we know the Flickr images came first? Well, turns out that the Flickr images are dated with 2012. So if you want to make the argument that maybe they've been, that the metadata has been changed on them or whatever, go nuts. Go nuts, man. I guess that makes you the debunk. Makes you the conspiracy theorist then, right? Maybe the Chinese intelligence fabricated those images and posted them on Flickr in 2012. Go nuts. Okay. So there's that. What was I going to say? Crap. I forgot what I was going to say. You got me sidetracked. One of the things that I want to do next, I think, is I'm probably going to go back through and do an analysis of the letter to Ashton Forbes piece by piece because it's pretty wild. Like the account has kind of just gone dark, and somebody tried to recreate it, but the recreation's terrible. Like I couldn't even get through the recreation; it was so bad. Where they like clearly used AI to write a script and read a script, and it wasn't very good at all. I was looking for the corridor crew thing. Thank you. That reminded me. So I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the whistleblower's letter to Ashton Forbes. I'm going to do a breakdown, maybe not paragraph by paragraph, but like several posts that explains to people why I found it so compelling and what parts were unique versus the parts that were original. Corridor crew is proving why everybody why they had to be YouTubers instead of a real VFX agency. I honestly don't think those guys are even VFX artists. I don't even think they're VFX artists. Has anyone ever actually seen them do VFX before? It wouldn't surprise me at all if they're just like producers and that they don't actually do any VFX at all, and they just like have like their servants in the back, their lowly paid like interns do all the VFXing. I'd almost guarantee it is. In fact, we may like expose them on that. I want to see like actual them sitting there streaming, doing VFX and doing work. Because I bet you that dude in Jordy LaForge or whatever his name is and Nico, I'd almost guess anything that they don't do any VFX at all. I'd almost guarantee that they're contracting out all the real work and then they just reap all the benefits, right? Almost guaranteed that's what's going on with them. I just have spider sense goes off with them. Whenever you see YouTubers sitting on a couch, and not actually doing any real work or whatever, it makes me highly skeptical. Okay. So yeah, the letter to Ashton Forbes is pretty wild, man. I don't know. The other thing about it, there's that Nick Obar, yeah. So S23, the Nick Obar one is the fake one, and that's what got me more convinced that the letter to me is real, because it goes to show it's not as easy to fake as people think, which is ironic because same thing to do with the videos, right? Everyone thinks, oh, the videos are easy to fake. Everybody always, just a really good lesson for everybody out there is that people always overestimate their own skills. Always. Even I do it at work, right? They say, oh, I could do that in an hour. I could do that, whatever, right? And then they get in there and they realize, oh, no, this takes actually work. Work is hard, everybody. Work is hard. It's never as easy as you imagine it to be, right? Oh, I could have AI do that and AI read it. First of all, like the AI that they tried to create the one is like really bad. The voice they used was really bad, the recreation. It just goes to show that the real one out there was like, they definitely put some time into it or some thought into it. Whatever it is, like I'm now actually leaning a little bit more towards it being some kind of foreign agency psyop. Maybe I'm still don't think it's real, but I'm leaning more towards some kind of weird foreign agency psyop. It's just too highly produced. And at this point, I'm almost 100% sure it wasn't the skeptics / debunkers that made it, because there would have been some gotcha at some point, right? They wouldn't have just gone cold with it. They would have tried to kept us going with it or try to do something to dunk on us or whatever, right? There's just no payoff for them. And they keep trying to say that I made it or something, which I just tell you guys straight up, I could not make that. I absolutely could not make that. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. I wouldn't even be able to create just the graphical images, just the still images they have in there. I wouldn't even be able to recreate. I don't even know how that one dude's making all those images of like KT and all that. How do you even do that? How do you even make one like, I saw an alien scientist had one where he's got like long blonde hair. Like, I don't even know how to create an image of myself, an AI image with myself in it. I'm sure there's a way, but I just don't even know how. One day I'll find the Corridor Crew thing, guys. One day. I think I'm close. Okay, here's the Taylor set off blast waves. So for the people that think, oh, that VFX was close, well, you need to watch this. So let's just take this blast wave here and realign it over the VFX angle. Perfect match, right? Perfect match. Here's another one. Perfect match. So it's really easy to match, especially on the blast on the outside. Really, really easy. And here's a third one right here. Right? Really easy. So I'm going to probably make posts tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. We'll see. But I'm going to probably do an analysis of the Dan stuff. Probably several posts breaking it down. Because it's so long. Nah, Creepy Stories is not Battle Grok. The reason why it's not Battle Grok is because Battle Grok like flipped out when I started reporting on it. Like lost his mind. Battle Grok's account got deleted, by the way. So I don't know. Yeah, I was looking for the jury duty meme. I've got it somewhere. It's right here. I found it finally. You guys, I have so much stuff now. So much videos now. I had to buy a 5 terabyte hard drive to put all my stuff onto because all my streams and stuff are like huge. And I'm running out of space on my hard drive actually now. But yeah, no, it's not Battle Grok that made that because Battle Grok freaked out and went like total psychopath on us after we started promoting it. So there's no way. It's no way it's Battle Grok. Although that's the kind of skill set. You need somebody who knows how computers work in order to pull it off. That's why, I don't know. That's why I keep thinking I'm leaning towards like it being some kind of psyop or something from a foreign intelligence community. Which Chuck Costello video was it? A lot of Chuck stuff gets community noted. Community notes is going off the deep end, man. Community notes is becoming like fact checks now. Community notes should not be used for speculation or opinions. Community notes should just be used for factual related content. Like if I post a video of like the weird flyover, I shouldn't be able to get community noted, right? Because I'm literally just saying, what is this? I don't know what it is. I'm not saying that it's aliens. It should just be like, if I say something that's factually incorrect, that's when you should get community noted, right? Community notes have definitely been gamed. It's sad. And the problem is the way the community notes work is that if your post gets too high levels of visibility, like once it starts to go over like 1 million views, then you can't fight back against the community notes. Like once the community notes hits the threshold, you get community noted. That's like, I literally know how it's gamed now because I've seen it with Chuck's posts. Like once his stuff goes like over 1 million or 2 million, the community notes takes over and there's no way to make it go away. It's super bad. They definitely need to fix it. Okay, let's close out with MH370 versus Corridor Crew. S23, man. I don't know, man. You got to realize like I'm a busy person. I do not have time to address every single person's direct things that they want me to watch and see. Like, people got to not be so parasocial about some of this stuff, guys. Like, I have 70,000 followers and I get spammed with so much stuff, man. I know everybody thinks their thing is super important. If you send it to me and I can see it, I will try to take a look. The best thing you can do, though, is try to clip it, etc. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, when you get noted, you don't get monetized, I found out, too. So that's really scummy.
No, I'm gonna do it directly from this guy. So, as you can see here, my client showed up for work on the day of the incident.
Look at that.
And
Perfect recreation.
this is just a second. I'm gonna have to have a talk with my nephew.
Wait, whoa.
You know what?
I want to see it.
The video is not.
Show it to me.
It's not working, Your Honor. I don't understand.
It's perfect. Exactly what I was
Is this
saying.
what the jury just saw?
I'm gonna.
That's the whole thing?
Unfortunately, yes. That is not what the whole thing was supposed to be.
Not only was the animation so poor, but it glitched and just froze up. So again, we only saw like 5 or
I love
6
the clip
seconds
where you
worth of
you see
video.
the dude with the Jordan
But
Forge
it
glasses.
was crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
It's like the defendant is getting hosed.
He's showing very clear frustration. He's banging his hands on the table when his attorney can't present a simple video.
You should have put Danny Jones's face on the defendant guy. Then that would have been the that would have been the coup de grace, dude. But yeah, that was pretty good. So I love that. Yeah, S23. Oh, your Spirit of Anademos. Okay. I'll take a look at that after this, man. So anyway, guys, have a great night. Yeah, Jury Duty. If you haven't seen the Jury Duty show, I think it was on Freeve. You should definitely check it out. It's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. That clip in the show too is hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing at that clip. That's the part where I thought he was for sure going to figure it out. It was so ridiculous. Okay, guys, have a good night. We will talk